This video includes discussion of suicidal ideation. Viewer discretion is advised. Hovannes, how did you find carnivore?
Well, Dave, to keep it kind of short, I was having a lot of physical issues and mental issues, but I was reaching into like suicidal territory with my mental degradation and my physical breakdown because I drank a lot and a lot of bad traumatic events happened in my life. So I was physically broken. I had a herniated disc, a rotatory cuff injury. I had stenosis in my neck. Even at the time, I had some carpal tunnel syndrome, and eventually my leg went completely numb, and I couldn't move my leg. I couldn't even walk. So I was walking with a limp, and I went to the doctors. The doctors told me that your nerve is dying in your leg, and well, you have to do some physio, and they were very grim about it. And I remember that day very correctly. And they were like, yeah, you have to do some video. And if it turns into like 40% mobility, you're very lucky. And I went home even more depressed than I already was, and anxious and panicky. And my girlfriend at the time, which by the way, update to the viewers, is my fiance now. We're probably going to get married in summer. Yes, yes, yes. So the misery did something. you know? So my girlfriend at the time was like, "It's okay, baby, we will find a way." Blah blah. But what way? Because the doctors. I'm just a musician. I don't know anything about nutrition or biology stuff. So I was like, you know what? Everybody has kept telling me that plants are good. Like vegetative, and stuff. So I was like, okay, sure, let me do that. Let me try. So I was vegetarian for about 7 to 8 months. And everything got worse. When I say everything, I mean everything got worse. I used to eat like a monster, like a literal cow, and I was losing weight. I was eating so much. Like people tell me, did you get your nuts? I was eating everything. Please stop telling me about the nuts. I ate nuts, I ate zucchini, I ate cabbage, I ate eggs. I could eat eggs. Imagine if I wasn't eating eggs. Maybe I would have just passed out and died. I didn't do vegan, I did vegetarian. So I was eating like 10 eggs per day and a bunch of zucchini and broccoli and tomatoes and onions and nuts, like walnuts. And in Armenia, where I live, walnuts are like very available. They're very available. So I was eating tons of walnuts and everything, and I was just losing weight and getting worse to the point where I start having like allergies and headaches. I didn't have this before when I started vegetarian. Everything was bad, but at least I didn't have allergies and headaches and migraines and stuff. And you can ask my fiance now. I was having so much migraines. My brain was gonna blow. And I was there. I even got even worse. I was like mentally, because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to do this and I'm getting worse. And my leg went number and number and number and number. It was so bad. And then the Armenia, there was the Russian-Ukrainian war, right? So when that happened, the rents got really, really expensive. So I was like, it went from $200-300 to like $800, $1,000. The rents, like massive change. So I wasn't ready for that. Nobody was actually, but I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go back home, and I went back to Lebanon with my mom, and I stayed there in my depressive state. When I went there, in the bulk of my misery, I was just making music because I didn't know what else to do. So in my deep misery that I was in, and very suicidal, I was like, every day I was thinking of like jumping through a car, doing something, because I was ready to go out. I was like, enough of this. This is stupid. This is silly. Like it was. Sometimes I used to laugh because it's so silly how I was. It's ridiculous. Like you can't function. Your mind's whack. Your body hurts everywhere, and you're trying to get better and nothing works. It's very ridiculous if you really think about it. Anywho, one day I remember very well, in the depths of my misery, I was, scrolling to YouTube, black hole stuff, and went past a reel. I don't remember actually now. It's been 6 years or a reel of Jordan Peterson's, the famous psychologist's daughter. And when the daughter was talking, her symptoms actually they're worse, but were similar to mine. She was even much worse, but they were similar to mine. I was like, huh. So what is this chick talking about? What? And someplace she's like, oh, this made me better. I'm like, what made you better? And then she talked about like the opposite of what I was doing, which was eating mostly meat and red meat. I was like, huh, okay. I gave this, vegetarian thing a try. And if the things are correct and you get a heart attack from eating a lot of fat and meat, so be it. I was gonna already kill myself anyways. So I was like, there's a win-win, win-win. Either I get out or I get better, one of them. And at the time, my fiance was not my girlfriend at the time was still talking to me. It's like, okay, the rents are better. So I agreed. I talked to myself. I said, as soon as I get to Armenia, I'm just going to eat meat and let bygones be bygones. And I think it was 3 weeks later, I talked in the other video, something fun happened. It's not really fun, but it helped me along the way. So we have a 2-story house. This was 2 days before I left to Armenia to start my carnivore journey. So we live in a 2-story house in Lebanon, and I wasn't there. Right, the majority I wasn't there. I came back for a short amount of time, but in my misery, I just stayed in my room. I never really left my room. So my mom calls me. I go down to the kitchen, and it was summer. She was telling me, can you go get the juice or something like that for the person who's helping us clean the house? And me, because of this new information that there's hope of carnivore and stuff like that, like I'm a bit sparky because I'm like, okay, this I might get out of this shithole that I'm in. Sorry. I'm actually very excited. So I'm like, yeah, okay, mom, I will get you your juice. I'm very like this. And I failed to realize that my mom had bought and inserted a new fan in the ceiling. Blade fan. Okay. And I'm a pretty tall dude. I'm 6'1.5". My mom is fine, but when I did this, my entire body went this way from the force of the blades. And I literally broke/cut myself on my 3 fingers. The first one initially, because the main impact was the worst. And I'm looking at it, I can literally see the bone. And my mom is freaking out, and the person who was there helping clean started to freak out. Everybody's like, "Mom, calm down. There's no, we're not gonna help anything." So, anyways, the next day I can't move it. It's like impossible. There's nothing. I go to the doctor. A friend of my father. My father was a doctor who passed away from heart attack. And my aunt at the same time died from cancer. This was part of me going crazy. So anyways, so I go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, okay, Hovik, you have to close it like this, and you have to keep it for 3-4 months, and then you have to go for physio for 3-4 months. I was like, fine. And this is my working hand. I'm a musician. I produce music. I do film scoring. Our website is up, by the way. I will tell the viewers, and the website is up later. Anyways, so this is my working hand. Without this, I can't do anything. So I'm all anxious. And like I'm holding it in because I want to scream, But I get there, I get to Armenia, and just like I promised myself, first day contact, I started eating meat. In the beginning, because I've watched a lot of videos at the time. I was like, okay, take it easy, don't force it. Do 80-20, like 80 meat. Keep the stuff, you don't want to have those symptoms of, stuff, the sugar cravings, etc., and sleep. So I was very precautious. I was like, okay, take it easy, but I start. A week passed by, 2 weeks passed by, 3 weeks passed. To be honest, I didn't have major any kind of things. You know, people talk about a lot of stuff, but I didn't have most of it because I wasn't necessarily a sugar eater to begin with. Like, I don't necessarily like the taste of sweet. You know, I eat. I'm not saying I didn't, but I wasn't this person like, oh, give me the candy, give me the cookies, give me the ice cream. I'm like, okay, if there is, I eat. If there isn't, I don't. So, I didn't have any kind of quote unquote withdrawal stuff and things like that. Anyways, 2 weeks, 3 weeks passed by, and I actually started feeling better. I can energy wise. The first thing I felt was energy. Like there was a different sense of energy, which didn't exist. I used to wake up from my bed like a zombie. You know, like I used to wake up like 5 cars have just passed me by. So that was much less. And I was like, huh, oh, it's kind of interesting. You know, that was the first thing. The second thing that happened was I started to think clearer. I can feel it because I already have, like, I don't know if it's real or not, but I have ADD, you know, like my mind's always like somewhere else. So, and that got clearer too. Short story, because we talked a lot on the other video. Short story. 4 months passed by. And now I'm sitting better, I'm sleeping better, I'm waking up better, I'm walking better, I'm doing a lot of things better. And it's all interesting stuff. Like, you know, like this is what's nice about the journey. It's like they pop up from time to time, you know? It's like one day this and one day that, and you're like, oh, so this works too. You know, like I had eczema on my leg for years since I remember. And it just disappeared one day. And I was like, okay, that's also it does that too. I'm like, okay, that's an extra point for carnivore. You know, it's like so like little pop-ups of happiness. Anyway, so 4 months passed by. And you know, remember I had closed my hand and the doctor told me in 3-4 months, you have to go to 3-4 days physio. And I couldn't wait for that day. I just wanted it to end so I can start working again. So I opened it and I couldn't literally move my fingers. I never forget it. It was Wednesday. And I put the first session of physio on Friday. The next day I wake up and it was moving a bit. Still like weird, but moving. It was like, okay, this is weird because I've been through such a thing before. Not fingers, but I've broken my ankle and I did surgery. So I kind of know how recovery works in this manner. So it was weird to me. And I was like, okay. I woke up Friday, which is my physio day. Literally, I was going to physio. I woke up and I was moving my hand and I was moving it like this. And I was like, what? What's going on here? It had no biology can explain it. Like I completely understand what the doctor said. The doctor was telling me 4 months rest for it to heal, and then you have to do physio because the tendon and the ligaments they need what do they call? They need blood flow for it to heal. You know what I mean? This is what physio technically is. You know, but the day I was gonna go to physio, it was completely gone. Okay, maybe 10%. I was like, okay, wait on the physio. I woke up Saturday and it was completely gone. There was nothing. My hand was the exact same as it was before the accident. And it still bothers me. I'm like, what's going on? And it didn't hit me at the time because, you know, you're in your emotions, you know, and then it did. I was like, it's the meat because I've been eating meat for 4 months. This is the meat. And that helped me stay on course. Then it gave me like very quick evidence of the quote unquote healing powers of meat and fat. So then I was all in. I was, like I said in the other video, I was like praising beef. Beef is the Lord. You know, I go to a shop, you know, like, I hope you have your beef, my friend, you know, stay healthy. I became this kind of guy. I'm preaching to my friends, my girlfriend at the time, everybody. I tried my best to tell everybody. So, and this was 4 months in. And when we did the video, I was 10 months in. And I had gained, I was 66 I'm a 6'1" guy, 66. I was like almost bone during the video.
That's really low.
Yes, yeah, I'm telling Dave, I promise everybody, I I love food. I eat like a monster. It's not like when I did vegetarianism, I didn't, I was eating like a monster. If people saw how much I ate, they would actually be baffled. They would be like, this man has a problem, and I was losing weight. When I started carnivore, I went from 66 to 76, 77, 78. And when I got to 78, I stayed on 78 till now. Maximum because, nothing's perfect. Sometimes, I don't have money. I have to order food. Sometimes you're at an event. You have to eat there for, food and stuff. When that happens, I become like 80, but never more than 80. But that's it, 77 to 80. Even if I eat not carnivore food for a day or two, I become maximum 80. And then I go back to 7. As soon as I start back on like real track of carnivorism, I go back to 77, 78. It's remarkable. It's like a God waits point, like a checkpoint or something. It doesn't change. I've tried. By the way, I've tried to mess it up because I usually eat half a kilo of beef per day. That's usually my all. Today I'm gonna have liver, for example, but it's usually half a kilo. You know, half a kilo of beef per day, and maybe at night I'll have some white cheese. Like white white cheese, a bit of it. But I try to mess with it. Like I've gotten like sour cream and I eat more eggs. I eat a bit more beef. It doesn't change. It doesn't affect your body weight, which is that's not surprising. Now I understand. It was surprising then. Now I get it. It's been 4 years. So, stuff like that. So 10 months in, I became 77. And from that moment, from the interview till now, I am exactly the same weight. 1 kilo more, 1 kilo less, and that's it. It doesn't really change. So that's kind of my journey to the video. And then I stayed with it, obviously.
And so, since we last spoke, has anything happened? Has anything changed?
So a lot of things happened. This is why I want to get back on the video. So the first summer, these are things now. Okay, so the first summer, listen, if you remember in the video, I don't know if you do, but if you remember in the video, I have no affiliation to carnivore or veganism or vegetarianism or whatever. I don't really care, who wins or whatever. If you want to take it as like a political, I don't really care. I care about feeling good. And I care about people feeling good as well. That's my motive here. Nothing else, nothing more. So, saying that, the first summer came. And originally, I'm not a big fan of heat. I like the cold. So it was summer before winter, but that was so cool about it. It was summer before winter. So summer came and I was frying. I was frying. My body was frying. And I'm like, well, maybe this summer is very hot or something. And I was continuing everything as normal. And then one day, if you also on the other video, I said my fiance now is very fruit friendly, and she got some fruits in the house. To that moment, I've never saw fruits as food from the day I started. It never occurred to me because that's how you become when you're a carnivore. That moment, my entire body wanted the fruit. And I went and I ate it. And when I ate it, my body calmed down. And it makes sense because in winter, carnivore is absolutely amazing because it increases your body temperature. I know that because it snows here. I'm the one with t-shirt. I go out and people are with coats and doing like this. It increases. This is why, there is no fruits in Sweden and in the, in Scandinavia places and in icy places. There's no fruits because you don't need fruits. But in hot places, I figured out that fruit in summer, a bit of fruit is important to keep your body normal, for you not to completely fry up. And that's how God intended, right? Fruits come in summer a bit of spring, and then they vanish when it's cold. It makes complete sense, you know? So that's the first experience I had in like after the video. I was like, oh, okay, so fruits have a place, but in this limited time interval. You know, you eat, you're not saying eat fruits like food, but you have one or two from time to time to keep your body temperature normal. Okay, so that I figured out a lot, and I think it's a reality. It's not like me making it up in my head. So that's one. Two, I started to gain mass by sitting down. I started to gain muscle by sitting down. That is a refreshing idea. You know, people ask, but do you work out? I'm like, I don't know what to tell them. I'm like, I'm sitting down. I work sitting down, I play guitar and I sit. That's mostly what I do. But I'm just gaining muscle just by sitting down. So if a person actually goes and, and works out, wow, like, wow, good for them. That's another one, just know, my skin, my skin. For women out there who put hundreds and hundreds of dollars on skincare and hair care and all that stuff, just get a steak. My skin is just glowing. My girlfriend, my fiance, is like jealous to the point where she doesn't understand. She doesn't get it. She doesn't understand it. She looks at it. She's like, "Oh, baby, you have so much nice skin now." I'm like, oh, sure, like you don't feel how your skin is. You're not like I'm a man. It's not like, oh, I have great skin. You need a woman to tell you, and that's how it was. My skin is so much better. My hair, I'm bald, right, genetically, but even if I let it out, there's new spots of hair. There's new places of hair coming out, which is I told my mother. My mom was always telling me, put weird shit on my head to grow my hair. I'm like, Mom, I'm okay bald, it's fine. But now there's like weird spots of hair coming out. It's very interesting. That's another one. That's not useful for me, but maybe for somebody who actually wants his hair back, I'm sure it's going to help. Three, something that also happened along the way, which I realized is amazing. My eyesight got better. My eyesight is better. Like literally, my eyesight is better. I don't have bad eyesight, but I'm 100% sure if I do this and this are different. This and this are different. This was much blurry back then. This is okay. This one is the good eye, let's say. This one is the good eye. This was much more blurry than this before. Much more blurry. Now I can almost see. Like this is almost now as good as this one. It's not, but it's almost. So something is happening there as well, which is quite alarming. You know what I mean? Other stuff. Yeah. I've heard this in like people commenting. I never experienced it until lately. Your reaction to the sun gets better. The way that the sun touches your skin, you don't get burned easily. That's also fascinating.
Yeah, it's and it also, living this way kind of makes you want to get out in the sun.
It makes you want. It gives you the energy, not the energy. Energy is not the right word. You can have energy other way around. The calmness to go out, because people right now are not energyless. What people are is they're very highly anxious. They don't want to socialize with people because they are anxious. They don't know what to say, when to say, how to say it. The more I eat meat, the more I become calm. The more something interesting, the more I become less, for a lack of a better word, jealous. Like you become so calm that let's say a person that that you don't like very much did something remarkable and now he's a millionaire. You don't really care. You become very, very, very thorough with yourself, very in yourself. Like you are happy within yourself. You don't have this this thing. Oh, this is doing that. This guy's doing this. Oh, why does he have a beautiful girlfriend? It stops this thing that humans, their broken brains function. It slowly withers away. It's so interesting, and that I don't have an explanation for.
Mm.
I don't
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like the calmness that comes over you, you're less likely to be comparing yourself to other people, right?
exactly comparing and feeling unwanted, feeling. You become content with yourself. You become like this, this operating machine that you're happy about. And I love that feeling because I dub myself a kind person, but when this feeling became more prevalent, I was even more kind and more merciful and more happy, which is weird, right? We're going and killing a cow, but there's this very merciful, grateful feeling that you have about it. It's different, but like much more zen, which I don't know how it works. Like even if you compare this video to my other video, you will see I'm much more. I'm still a hyper person. Don't get me wrong, but I'm much more calmer than in the other video.
Right.
And you always like everywhere around, doing regular, like now I'm much more calmer in general.
Now that since I've heard the story about the fan a couple of times, when I see you raise your hands like that, it makes me jump.
I have that too, but I got used to it. You have this like traumatic, like nostalgia or whatever. Whenever I'm like, oh, and I always look up, like I always look up.
So the migraines have gone as well?
Ev- Everything. No migraines, no allergies. I had zero allergies now. Oh, okay. Another thing I have to say that's important to the people. For people who are dealing with neuropathy, because I had alcohol neuropathy, which is almost like diabetes and stuff. This is important. I think this was the main factor why I wanted to talk. Um, Even when I was doing carnivore, I was having sudden, very strong pains wherever the nerves were, even when I was doing carnivore. And I was losing my mind because I was like, okay, these are getting better. That's getting better. The mobility is getting better. But the pain sometimes comes in a very massive way. Like one time, my fiance came to the house. I was almost going to cry. I was yelling at the ceiling. It was that painful. Now, at hindsight, I understood what that was. This is what I want to tell the viewers. Healing is painful. The nerve that's healing causes pain. And the only reason I associated it, and this is not a justification for me to commend carnivore. It's because there was this the day I did my ankle operation. My father did my operation. My father and my father's son. Uh, After the operation, I felt fine, and I was telling my father to go home. My father was like, "Son, stay the night at the hospital, and then you'll go home." And I was like, "Dad, I feel fine. Come on, let's just go home." It's like, "No, no, no, you have to stay here." Eventually, I had so I stayed in the hospital. And at night, I remember it very well. My last friend came to visit me like 11-ish at night. And 12-ish, it was this rush of sudden pain. And it was horrible, horrible. To that moment, I've never felt pain that way. Horrible. I was like buzzing the nurse, give me drugs, give me dope, give me anything you have. It was horrible. And after that day, the pain never came back again. So that pain was the surgery post pain. It's the healing process. It's the things coming together. It's because they had to, put stuff together. It's the things coming together. So when people are doing carnivore and they have nerve damage, nerve pain, neuropathy and stuff, And it's very striking. The pains are very striking. When they come, don't get demotivated. It's just your body correcting itself. It's just part of it. And when the pains were gone, I got all the way healed. My foot, even in the video, was almost good, like 75. Now it's 99%. It's gone. But from the 70% to the 99, there was moments as in times of like very severe pain. Even when I still have carpal tunnel, because even if you eat carnivore, the problem is that I'm always using the mouse. So I'm always stressing it back. So it heals, but then I use the mouse again. I have problems. So this is kind of my fate in a sense. Until they make like holograms where you can move things like this. We'll get there. But until then, this is gonna be my fate. But even when this was getting better, the pain is immense. When it gets better, the nerve pain is immense. So for people, don't lose hope or get demotivated when you're eating meat and fat and you're still having nerve pain. It's just a process. And eventually it will stop.
Right. And so have you been eating the same way all along? Like you're just eating one meal a day, or?
Um, 90% I eat. And if I say, if does the white cheese at night count, like this much cheese at night? I don't know if that's a meal. But usually I have one meal, half a kilo of beef, usually. And at night, uh, I have some white cheese or two eggs, just something. Like literally something. It doesn't have to be a meal at all. Just something. But I want to say this because it's very important also for the viewers. There's bad news about carnivore. Yes, there is side effects. There is proper side effects. And I wish there wasn't. It's logical why there is, but I wish there wasn't, but there is. So when you start this life, this journey, whatever, and you predominantly eat meat, everything is good, everything is dandy, and it just gets better with time. However, the downside to it is that is whenever, and I say whenever you cheat, it's fucking horrible. It's atrociously bad. It's it's absolutely not fun. It's like I did cocaine or heroin or something. It's like, oh, brother, brother, I ate 2 slices of cheese. Okay, I didn't stick a needle in my arm and do drugs. Why is it like this? It's horrible. Bloating, you can't sleep. Your bathroom horrible. You get sick. I haven't been sick in 4 years since I started the carnivore diet. I traveled to Lebanon because I had family stuff to attend to for a month, 5 months ago, 5 months ago. I got to Lebanon. 2 days later, I got sick. 2 days later, I got sick. And I wasn't sick for 3 years because I ate a couple of, because my mom is making food. What am I going to tell her? It's like her thing. She's happy that she's making me food. So I can't be like, Mom, no, sorry, but so I ate, and but I got sick. I literally got sick. I got like temperature and stuff. I got sick, and every time you cheat in a slight significant way, you will get sick or feel really bad, like really bad. So that's the bad news of carnivore. Now, I was a heavy drinker remember in the old video, I was a heavy drinker, and I don't drink alcohol. And I never feel like drinking alcohol. But when there is an occasion, I like to have a glass or two or three. This is also for the people that are using carnivore for alcohol. It makes you feel horrible. I used to drink 2, 3 glasses of something and I used to feel euphoric. Like I'm flying in the skies. And now I drink alcohol, I become stupid. I become slow and stupid. That's not fair. I find it not fair. Like two glasses, like give me a slight satisfaction, like give me a bit of buzz and I'm not gonna have my third, fourth glass. It feels like a punishment, to be honest. It makes me stupid and slow day. Like not a one glass of alcohol till now, except sometimes tequila for some reason. I don't know why tequila is kind of okay, but everything else is absolutely horrible. I drink it and I feel stupid, slow. My ADD goes through the roof. I can't function and I want to crash and sleep. A person who used to drink a bottle of vodka per day, this is coming from that guy, and after a bottle of vodka is normal, happy, driving a car. You shouldn't, these people, you shouldn't drive a car. Drive, very, very normally. Now I can't even have two glasses. It's almost impossible.
I found when you're fat adapted, from when I've done keto in the past, alcohol has a very different effect on you. It's very, very strange. And yeah, your tolerance for the alcohol is much lower.
It feels like you're getting poisoned. It is a poison, but it it's direct now. Like before, you used to get poisoned if you drank a lot. Now it's like 1.5, 2. You feel like you are poisoned. You feel like you ate cyanide or something. It becomes total poison. Unfortunately, I think the only reason why tequila I am okay with sometimes is because there's salt. That's my hypothesis. I'm not sure. I don't know the science behind it. But you put salt on the shots and drink it. I think that kind of makes it okay. But everything else I drink, anything, it just makes me sick now. It's very bizarre.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like this when I was not drinking before carnivore. It wasn't the same.
You've just taken me back to many a bad morning by mentioning the tequila shooters. Um, you know, my life before, it was always you'd be out and you'd be so, so drunk that you were falling over, and then someone would say, "You know what a good idea would be? Let's do shooters."
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
just like it's all over. I'm so glad those days are over.
and
So glad.
maybe that person is me. I'm the one. I'm the one who used to come with the shooters to the people. Like, so I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I was.
At this stage, you're carnivore forever?
David, there's, there's simply there's no going back. Even let's say suddenly I had this urge of not eating carnivore, right? On Valentine's Day, okay? The public could know it's fine. On Valentine's Day, I know I'm a very good cook, by the way. I love cooking, so I'm a very good cook. On Valentine's Day, I told my fiance, why don't we get sushi stuff and make sushi? So we got the rice, we got the fish, we got the and I made her sushi. It was a very nice time. For a week, I was in the bathroom the next day. For a week, from the rice. For a week. So for one yippee yeah, for a week you're a freaking zombie. They can't operate and function and do things. It's simply not worth it. Like it's simply not worth it. I'm not coming from what do they call a graceful, humble place. It's simply just not worth it to go back because the thing that you give and you take is too expensive. For 10 minutes of quote unquote, dopamine rush, a week of your life is just like this.
Right. That's a really good way of putting it. It's too expensive.
It's too expensive.
That's a very good way of putting it. Um, so if you had a friend come to you and say, "Hovannes, I want to try carnivore. How do I do it?" Would you advise them to jump in straight away, just get started, or maybe go slowly first, cut out seed oils, cut out the grains, that kind of thing?
What I realized from my journey is that, and I tell this to my friends already, because they think it's about discipline. I'm a musician. I'm the least disciplined person in the world. I, I have zero discipline. I put 3 alarms for this interview. 3 alarms, Dave. I put one on the TV, one on my other phone, one on this, because there's a very high chance I was gonna forget. So I have no discipline whatsoever. People come say to me, Ovig, what discipline? You're eating meat constantly. I'm like, brother, it has nothing to do with discipline. Your body does the work. You have nothing to do with it. Your willpower has nothing to do with it. Maybe for 3 days, but from the fourth, fifth day, you have nothing to do with it. Your body gets the signal that this is nice, this is good for you. Once your body gets the signal that this is good for you, your body does the rest. Your body next day is like, where is that thing that made me happy yesterday? And the next day you wake up. Where is that thing that made me happy before yesterday and yesterday? I have nothing to do with it. I literally have nothing to do with it. So, what I would advise them is just start eating fat, because I think it's the fat. Just start eating fat and don't think it's the enemy. I said this in the other video. The most important thing for people to understand, I was a dire case. I'm not telling you to change your life, to not, you can be whatever you want. I was a dire case, so I had to do a bit more than maybe others. But what viewers should understand, first and most of, is that meat is not the enemy. Take this information and use it the way you want. But meat is not the enemy. So start eating meat, start eating fat. And if you see it makes you feel better and bread doesn't, then stop eating bread. And so on. It just goes that way. But because people tell me, "Oh, I have to eat meat." No, Greg. Just eat meat and eat fat, and your body will do the rest. He will guide you. He will come. When you start eating chips, your body will start telling you, "Oh, this is disgusting. Something's wrong here." When you eat gum, I can't even eat, Dave, I can't eat gum. As soon as I put gum in my mouth, there's this rotten synthetic feeling that happens. I spit it out. It's beyond. It's actually quite remarkable how your body was meant to make you survive. But just because of our conditioning and all the addictive behaviors that we have, your body starts being sedated. And when it becomes sedated, it doesn't know anymore that this is bad for you and good for you. And you keep doing it. Yesterday there was onions on the shelf. I was like, let me just bite it. I used to eat African spice. African spice. The spice that will make your nose bleed. I was that guy. There was an onion on the shelf. I'm like, I don't want to throw it. I took it and I bit into it. I swear my mouth was burning for 5 minutes. It's not normal. Onion. And I used to eat African hardcore spice. So your body will do everything. Just know that meat is not the enemy.
Yeah. Your body's very clever. You've just gotta kinda get out of the way of your body to let it do its stuff, right?
Exactly. All these people, should I eat twice? Should I eat 4 times? Should I sleep now? Should I wake up now? Are you fucking crazy? You think your body needs a manual to do things? When should I go to the bathroom? Are you crazy? It doesn't even make sense. Some fitness coach is supposed to come and tell you, okay, you have to eat 5 times a day, you have to sleep this time. No, your body knows exactly what to do. You just have to, like you said, get out of the way. Your body will sleepy when it needs to, your body will wake up when it needs to, your body will eat when it needs to, and so on. All the other stuff.
Yeah. So Hovannes, if people wanna reach out to you, how can they get in contact or how can they find you online?
Well, lately, from the last time, I am a music producer slash film scorer, and I sing and I play music. Me and my friend who's Lebanese, we created a website for ourselves. It's called pumpkinrainstudios.com. Pumpkinrainstudios.com. So music that we do for movies and series and for visual effects and stuff is all there. And soon we will start an Instagram page for it. It will be in the same name, Pumpkin Rain Studios. Pumpkin Rain Studios. And that's mostly what I do. However, I've watched a good 60 videos of your channel, Dave. A good 60, easy. Okay? But nobody has ever performed a guitar live. And I will give a small treat for the people and for people to remember me by, and for you, Dave. Let me get the guitar. But Dave, I've never asked you, what music do you like? What's your jam?
Um, I don't know if you've heard of them because they're a bit old. Jamiroquai. Do you know Jamiroquai? They're a
Um,
British band.
Dave, I'm a musician, so music is my thing. Of course, I know Jamiroquai. Also, so funky stuff. You like funky stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Even back then, even in the 60s, 70s, funky soul, Motown music.
Yeah, I just like that kind of that
Oh,
beat, the rhythm, that kind of thing, yeah.
well, I don't know if you know Depeche Mode. You know, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's your time. It's your time, and I love Depeche Mode. It's one of the bands that made me look music in a different way. In a different with a different approach. So this is a song that I have a big concert soon in like 2 weeks that I'm preparing for. So I did this song. I covered it. It's not mine. So
What do you expect of me? What is it you want? Whatever you plan, I'm not the one. Whatever I've done, you stand the barrel of a gun. Whatever I've done, whatever.
Very nice, very nice.